Let's go ahead and call the Senate to order. Sergeant at Arms, please secure the chamber doors. Members, please take your seats. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President.
All right, Senators, on this beautiful Wednesday, March 11th, we have Pastor Albert Love from Greenbelt Community Church in Greenbelt, Maryland, guest of the distinguished senator from the 22nd District. Please rise for the invocation.
Good morning, beautiful people.
Good morning.
Let us open our hearts to prayer. Merciful benefactor, granter of all good gifts and holiest of holies, O love that will not let us go, we sing unto you in a collective voice of anguish, but not of utter despair. We cry out to you in the unified voice which enables us to bear the unbearable. Yet we do not mourn as those who have no hope. In our petitions, we moan out a song of broken-hearted blues because you have promised to always be near, and we do not see you working on our behalf. And we wonder how much more long will you seem so distant and so silent? We shout a lament unto you, our deliverer, who has promised to hasten when you hear us call. Our strong tower, who has promised to protect and harbor the vulnerable from their adversaries and the grinding up by systemic oppression. You are known to lift the burdens off our shoulders and sustain our strength with your breath of life. We follow your breath. We listen and we breathe. We breathe, and indeed we hear. We hear and we open our mouths wide in the confidence that the Spirit of the universe is filling our mouths with words of wisdom that pour out compassion for every sentient being, words of divine inspiration that bring healing to each circumstance. O gentle grace, soften any stubbornness that hardens our hearts. Feed us with your finest wheat and satisfy us with your sweet honey from the rock as you draw us into the righteous path for which we are purposed. As all else must look to you, we steadfastly cling to your promises and beckon your realm here on earth. By faith it is so, Ashe and Amen. And the people said, Ashe and Amen.
Recognized Senator from the 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank Reverend Auburn Love, who is the pastor of the Greenbelt Community Church and a minister in the Potomac Association ordained in the Southern Conference. She has served as a pastor, a church revitalization specialist, judicatory executive, and acting associate conference minister in the Central Atlantic Conference of the United Church of Christ. I want to thank the Reverend for her remarks and for her prayers. I ask that we journalize the pastor's prayer. Thank you.
Without objection, most certainly we will journalize the prayer. Thank you, Senator, and thank you for joining us today. All right. Has everyone recorded their presence? Nearly. Chair, Budget and Tax. Clerk will take the call. With 42 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is back again in session. We have a number of guests and a few resolutions. Let's start with the senator from the 40th District.
Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. Michelle Eberly is the Executive Director of the Maryland Health Benefit Exchange. Michelle is responsible for strategic direction, leadership, and oversight of all functions of the agency. Under her leadership, MHBE established the largest state reinsurance program in the nation, resulting in 3 years of double-digit premium reductions. She has more than 25 years of senior-level experience in healthcare, including her prior post as executive director of the Maryland Health Insurance Program. And on a personal note, we reached out to Michelle in an effort to better educate constituents in our community in the 40th District about health insurance and their options. And without hesitation, she rose to the occasion. So we're forever grateful for her leadership and her commitment to the citizens of Maryland. Mr. President, could we please read the resolution?
The clerk will read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Maryland General Assembly offers its sincerest congratulations to Michelle Eberly in recognition of your transformative leadership that expanded affordable coverage and advanced equity in the health insurance marketplace. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 11th day of March 2026.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? If so, the clerk will take the call. To Ms. Michelle Eberly, the Senate of Maryland unanimously congratulates you on your incredible leadership for expanding health coverage and equity in the state of Maryland. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, Senators, our next guest, who we will All right, our next guests we've been working very hard to schedule, and we'll ask them to start in the front, and then we may ask them to join us up at the rostrum in just a moment. We have Harold Fuchs Simmons II, who is a Grammy-winning artist, songwriter, producer, and educator, known for his empowering songs for all ages. Fuchs has contributed to award-winning albums, radio charting songs, and original compositions for TV and family media. His work has been featured on The Today Show, CNN, Tamron Hall, NPR, and many more. Fuchs hosts the kids podcast Once Upon a Beat, where hip-hop and fairy tales meet. His social justice curriculum is taught at schools nationwide. Fuchs and his 8-year-old daughter, Ara V, create music together and have performed at renowned venues like the Lincoln Center, Carnegie Hall, and Strathmore. The pair became Grammy Award winners this past year for Best Children's Music Album, Harmony, an honor which made Ara V the youngest independent Grammy winner in history. Pretty remarkable. So, Senators, we are going to ask the clerk to read the resolution. But before we vote, we're going to ask if this dynamic duo pair could come up and potentially give us a rendition, if they feel so inclined, and then we will vote to see how it goes. It's like American Senate Idol. If we could read the resolution as they're joining us up top.
be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Aura V. and Harold Fuchs Simmons II in recognition of winning a Grammy Award for Best Children's Album titled Harmony and for being the youngest Grammy Award winner in recording history. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 11th day of March 2026.
Peace, positivity, love and empathy. This is the recipe for life in harmony. Can you imagine what this place would be when our differences work collectively? Harmony, life in harmony, together in unity, you and me. In harmony,
my brothers and my sisters.
Community.
Can you imagine it?
Our community. Together in unity. You and me. Community.
Thank you. Good job, girl. Good job.
While you're here, if the clerk could call the roll. So if you look up there,
Mr. President.
see how you did. Well, it turns out, has everyone recorded their vote? The clerk will take the call. To this amazing Maryland duo, the Senate and Maryland unanimously celebrate your incredible, incredible work and thanks you for being incredible Marylanders. Keep up the amazing work. Congratulations.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you all so much. Truly an honor. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. You know, just another Grammy Award winner coming through the Senate. Just another day, Senate of Maryland. Pretty amazing. All right, let's see. Do we have, yes, excellent. We have Senator from District 2. Top that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, that one's going to be kind of hard to top. I mean, I don't think they knew that they're going to be going to a duet after this, but we'll see what happens. So, anyways, Mr. President, colleagues, thank you. Throughout 2026, the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County will be observing their 85th anniversary, marking more than 8 decades of service and commitment to the youth across Western Maryland. Today, over 700 kids in Washington and Allegheny County attend one of the 7 sites the club operates, where they participate in nationally recognized programs in areas that closely align with the development needs of young people. The bigger picture, though, is since 1941, this organization has served as a safe refuge for kids all across our 2 counties. Colleagues, please congratulate the Washington County Boys and Girls Club as they celebrate their 85th anniversary. Mr. President, I request the resolution be read in full.
The clerk will read the resolution in full.
Be it hereby known to all that the Senate of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County, Maryland, in recognition of the 85th anniversary of service and commitment to youth across Western Maryland. The entire membership extends its best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution be presented on this 11th day of March, 2026.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? If so, if we could help out in the back corner there, Senator from the 37th. Make sure we get that one recorded. Excellent. The clerk will take the call. To the Boys and Girls Club of Washington County, Maryland, the Senate of Maryland unanimously celebrates your 85th anniversary of service and thanks you for your commitment to Marylanders in Washington County and the Boys and Girls Club statewide. Congratulations. Thank you all so much for your great work. We love the work the Boys and Girls Club's doing. Excellent. All right. I think that does it for our resolutions. Let's see, do we have any guests to introduce? Yes, recognize Senator from Howard County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just would love to everyone welcome the Doctor of the Day. She lives in District 13, and she's an internist in Ellicott City, Marie Alberta Busico.
Excellent. Welcome. Thank you so much for working here. Thank you.
Did I do it right?
Further introductions. Senator from the 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, if you can help me recognize some very important people to me in my district. Last week, we had the mayor, so I could not let our council members who do the really great work of the legislative body within their municipalities go unnoticed. So I asked them to join me here today to see democracy at work here in the Senate. We have here in the gallery, we have Councilmember Kristen Weaver, who's with us from the city of Greenbelt, Councilmember Lincoln Lashley from the city of New Carrollton, Councilmember Jeannie Pompey from the city of Greenbelt, Councilmember Brianna Urbina from the city of New Carrollton, and Councilmember Kelby Casey from the town of University Park. Colleagues, please join me in giving them a warm Senate welcome. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you to our local partners. So local partners are right at the heart of the action. Senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 really special guests here today. On the floor with us today is D'Artagnan Swift Williams, who is shadowing me. He's got a really cool title. He is the Executive Director and Chief Data Officer of the Baltimore Mayor's Office of Performance and Innovation. He oversees all the things, and he brings such positive energy to everything he does, including working with me on 311 stuff. So delighted to have him join us in the Senate today.
Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
And if I could also acknowledge that Kenyon Benjamin, who was with us recently, who's the CEO of Maryland's 211 system, Maryland's InfoNet, has joined us today to watch our proceedings.
Excellent. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Senator from the 42nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. The members of the body may recognize Ibrahim Patter, who's with us this morning. He shadowed me early in session. He's back today. He'll be here one more time before we adjourn. He's a junior at Gilman School. He's a great shadow. He's learning a lot, I think. Welcome him, please.
Excellent, wonderful. Welcome. All right. Any further introductions? Any further introductions before we jump into the work today? Here's not. So we consider the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. We have layover bills. This is calendar number 10. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 390, Wicomico County Senators, Wicomico County, Class A, beer, wine, and liquor license, alterations. Question is in the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right. Question is on the 2 committee amendments. Recognize the senator from the 37th.
Maybe I may have jumped up too soon.
No,
No, I did not. Thank you, Mr. President. We've had some discussions offline about this legislation. Some of the concerns have been raised. It is a local bill. It was approved by the county and after a number of hearings. And rather than go through the deliberations at the full body, we'd like to recommit this and then let the committee communicate with the locals and see if they can get resolved and maintain its local status, if that would be okay.
Got it. All right. So the senators moved to recommit the bill to committee. Are there any objections to the senator's motion? Without objection, the bill will be recommitted to the Finance Committee. Let's go to layover calendar number 11. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 606, Senator McCray, Maryland Easy Pass Commuter Fairness and Transparency Act of 2026. Question is on the adoption of the 1 committee amendment and the favorable report.
All right. Question is on the 1 committee amendment. The 1 committee amendment. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 1 committee amendment is adopted. Question now is on the amended report.
Mr. President.
Yes, recognize Minority Leader.
Thank you very much. Can we special order this just till later in the calendar? I think the senator that asked for the layover had to step out for a moment.
Questions on the report? Let's see. Senator from the 22nd.
Yes, that's fine.
Any objections? Without, no objection from the committee. Any objections from the floor? Without objection, we'll special order it to the end of the calendar today. All right. Let's go to layover number 12. 12. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 160, Chair, Judicial Proceedings, Public Safety, Licensed Firearm Dealers, Notification regarding potential compromise of security features. Question is the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right. Question is on the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, recognize the senator from the 4th District on the amendments.
Mr. President, I'm going to ask for some guidance here. Is this the appropriate time to just ask for, I'm still waiting on my amendment to the end of the reading calendar today? Or should we move what is already here and then come back to it? Just asking if we could
If the
wait till the end
senator
of
was moved to special order to the end of the calendar, let's check with the floor leader.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm aware of 1 amendment that's forthcoming, which I think is agreeable, but I don't.
I'll be right up to you, but it's coming.
Okay. We are planning to adopt at least 1 additional amendment, so that's just fine. We can entertain the other one, but I know 1 will be considered friendly.
All right. Why don't we do, if we take it at the end of the calendar, if
That's
it's
fine.
here, it's here. If it's not, we'll
Excellent.
see where we are. If that's
Appreciate it. Yes.
any
Thank you.
objections?
Nope,
Okay.
thank you.
Without objection, we will move it to the end of the calendar. Let's go to layover calendar number 13. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 482, Senator McKay, Criminal Law, Interference with the Critical Infrastructure or a Public Safety Answering Point. Question as in the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right. Question is on the 2 committee amendments. Recognize the floor leader on the amendment? Nope. Senator from
President.
Montgomery County.
Yes, I'd like to thank the excellent senator from District 1, and he and I talked. I checked in with some of our 911 partners. This is a wonderful bill that adds to our swatting law, and we've even talked about my joining on as a co-sponsor. So, love the bill. Thank you.
All right. Excellent. That's Mr. Florida.
Mr. President, just looking for some guidance. I have ordered an amendment to add the good senator as a co-sponsor. Actually, looks like we might have another one. So,
has it been requested?
It has been requested already for one sponsor.
For one. Why don't we do this? Why don't we, if special order it to the end of the calendar, and we'll see where we are. If we need to push it to tomorrow, we still have plenty of time. So
thank you very much.
All right. If there's
Thank
no
you.
objection,
Thank
we'll
you, Mr.
special order
President.
this one as well to the end of the calendar. All right. Let's go to the report on education, energy, and the environment. This is report number 11. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 114, Senator Kagan, 311 Systems Expansion Program Oversight Board Establishment, favorable with 2 amendments.
Recognizing the bill sponsor, the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, you probably know that this Saturday is Pi Day because it's 314. What you may not know is that today, March 11th, is 311 Day, and it's the perfect day to talk about Maryland creating a statewide 311 system. Yes, scheduling does not happen by accident. In October of 1996, Baltimore City became the very first city in the country to create a 311 center. And Maryland continues to lead the way. So what is 311? It is for non-emergency calls, mostly for government services, but it can also be for nonprofits. What time does my library close? Where can I get a flu shot? Where do I early vote? There's a yappy dog next door, and it helps you get to the right place or helps give you the information you need. There was a Baltimore Sun article a couple years ago that revealed that 80% of calls into Baltimore City's 911 system, 911 center, were for non-emergencies. And we know that our 911 centers are understaffed and overworked. And so if you need police, fire, or paramedics because your mother isn't breathing, your house is literally burning down, or you've just been attacked, you do not want voicemail, you do not want to be put on hold, you want someone to answer and dispatch the support that you need. So after 7 years of working on this and chairing a really dynamic work group with lots of smart people on it, bipartisan, we unanimously passed a work group and a work group report to the governor and the General Assembly, and this is the product. Senate Bill 114 creates a statewide 311 system using artificial intelligence to lighten the load on our 911 centers. Because it uses artificial intelligence in a really prudent, thoughtful, and safe way, it's shockingly affordable and solves the problems, gives excellent customer service to all of our residents and our visitors. AI will be curated. So this is not going to be where can I get a flu shot and getting a response of, do you know that a flu shot can give you autism? It's not going to be the crazy stuff. It will guide people or pull information from our state and county websites that are kept up to date. It will work with important nonprofits, and really importantly, it will be interoperable with our 911 system, our suicide and mental health crisis hotline 988, our 211 system, and so there's something that we call no wrong door. So anyone who calls any of those 3-digit numbers, if they call the wrong number, they can easily be transferred. I want to acknowledge the Maryland Association of Counties and our county partners in this process. 6 of our jurisdictions have 311 now, 18 do not. And this is going to supplement not supplant, where it exists now. And it's a terrific new service for the counties that do not have it. So the counties, we give them flexibility as to how, when, and whether to engage with this, but they will be part of the interoperability. I'm going to just be brief, just a couple more things. First off, there is an oversight board that is made up of kind of all the smart folks that are going to make sure that where it's housed in our 211 system has oversight when we draft a request for proposal, when we hire a vendor, when we go through the process, there will be accountability. There's a report to the governor and the General Assembly after the chatbot is launched, and then after the voice bot is launched. We are going to be, if we move this bill and it becomes law, Maryland will once again be at the forefront, and we will be the very first state in the country to have a statewide 311 system to lighten the load on our 911 centers. So with that, Mr. President, colleagues, we have this bill with 2 amendments. The first one adds co-sponsors and makes technical changes. The second one talks about some of the details that I've already mentioned. Flexibility for our counties. It also adds, at the suggestion of some of our counties, a technical advisory committee, because they want to make sure that it works really well for each county. And so we have some of the smart folks in the room just during implementation. That committee will sunset, and it gets us ready to launch. And with that, Mr. President, colleagues, I move adoption of the 2 committee amendments, and the committee passed it unanimously. 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
All right, floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 114 is hereby ordered, printed for 3rd reading. All right, let's jump to special order calendars. We'll start with number 29. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 917, Senator Mount's Health Occupations Practice of Audiology Definition. Question is on the adoption of the favorable report.
All right, question is on the adoption of the favorable report. Recognize the is it floor leader or senator from the 42nd? Nope, I'm sorry. Senator from the 42nd has a question on the report.
Yes, Mr. President. I'd like to ask some questions of
Will
the floor leader, if I might.
Senator may proceed.
So thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. Overnight, I've had a chance to read Senate Bill 917 carefully. At issue with this bill, the issue relates to the definition of the term practice audiology on page 2 of the bill. The bill states, practice audiology includes the conducting of health screenings related to audiology or vestibular conditions in the human ear. In this sentence, the word screenings is undefined. So I want to ask you, as the sponsor of the bill, to discuss with me the sort of conduct that you understand would be included in the definition of the word screenings. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Would a question about the name of the patient's community service provider be part of a screening that an audiologist could conduct if this bill were to be passed?
Yes, it would.
Would such a screening by an audiologist include asking the patient what medications the patient is currently taking?
Yep, absolutely.
If the patient is elderly, would the screening include asking questions about possible maltreatment?
Yes, it would.
Would the screening include asking questions about the patient's history of falling, risk of future falls, and a possible care plan for falling?
That would be included in screening, yes.
Would the screening include an assessment of the patient's functional outcomes?
Absolutely, yes.
Would the screening include an inquiry about possible depression and possible follow-up plans?
Yeah, those are all covered, yes.
As a part of the screening, would the audiologist test the patient for high blood pressure and then discuss any follow-up plans?
Yes, that's under the standard screening, absolutely.
Would the screening include questions about tobacco use and unhealthy alcohol use?
Yes. I'm sorry, I heard some music in the background. I apologize. Yes, absolutely.
Music is pretty good. Not as good as we heard earlier. Would the screening include asking the patient about acute or chronic dizziness and a possible referral for autologic evaluation?
Yeah, those are all good questions, and yes, they are covered under screening, yes.
2 questions remaining. Would the screening include an inquiry about the social drivers of health?
Yeah, that's standard, yes.
And finally, if either federal or state authorities should require audiologists to cover additional subjects in such a screening, would this bill authorize the audiologist to comply with these directives?
Yes, it would, absolutely.
So I appreciate your willingness to answer these questions. Of course, this colloquy will fall into the category of legislative history in the event that questions might be raised later on as to the meaning of the word screenings. Thanks for participating in this brief conversation. With that, I'm comfortable with this bill and plan to vote for it.
Well, I would like to thank the senator for the time of going through that and doing that research so we could clarify all those issues. You know, this is an area of a lot of interest. It's very important, and we want to make sure that all those particulars that were just mentioned are covered under screenings, and without question, they are intended to be covered.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Senators. All right, any further discussion on the favorable report? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 917 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Let's go to Special Order Calendar number 30. Abraham Lincoln is rolling in his grave. Clerk, read the bill.
Senate Bill 893, Senator Guile, Business Regulation Rounding Cash Transaction Authorization. Question is on the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right, question is on the 2 committee amendments. Recognize the Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've had some communication. Certainly the amendments that the committee drafted are good, so we can go ahead and go forward with that, and then I'll probably ask for an amendment and then possibly a layover based on that.
All right. Question is on the 2 committee amendments. Any objection to the 2 committee amendments? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion of the amended report? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Recognize the Minority Leader. It has an amendment. 3 pages will collect and distribute the Senator's amendment. All right, Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is the bill that we discussed yesterday, talking about the rounding of pennies to the nearest nickel when merchants are providing change to cash-paying customers. What part of the concern is getting regulations out to the merchants that this is going to take place. And one of the concerns also is that it is an emergency bill, meaning that this would go into effect as soon as the body passes and the governor signs it. I've talked to the bill sponsor a little bit about an idea that would provide merchants a little bit more guidance on how this is going to work, when it could work. Do they have to go forward with it? Does each individual at point of sales have to do the same thing? And because the bill stated that it is a may and move forward with these regulations, it doesn't say that it shall. We wanted to keep it that way, but I do think it's important that the Secretary of Labor put forth guidelines and regulations in doing so. But obviously, in order for the Secretary to put those regulations in place, would need a little bit more time than an emergency bill. So the amendment also strikes that it's an emergency bill and gives some effective dates to that. I know we've talked about it, but we haven't fully agreed on it. So if I can ask that the bill and the amendment lie over on the roll, and hopefully we can get this resolved by tomorrow.
All right, the Senator has moved on the amendment and moved to lay over the bill. The motion is in order. The bill and the amendment will lie over under the rule. All right, let's go to Special Order Calendar number 31. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 431, Senator Brooks, Fish and Wildlife, Endangered and Threatened Species and Migratory Birds Regulations List Petitions, Essential Habitats and Takings. Question is on the adoption of the 3 committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right, question remains on the 3 committee amendments. Check with the bill sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the senator from District 37. We had a conversation offline, and he's fine with the bill. So I want to go ahead and move the adoption of the 3 committee amendments.
All right, floor
and the
leaders move for the-
favorable committee report.
All right, floor leaders move for the adoption of the 3 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 3 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 431 is hereby ordered printed for 3rd reading. Let's go now to Special Order Calendar number 32. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 16, Senator Sidnor, Child Support, Earnings, Withholdings, Limits. Question is in the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable report.
Recognizing the Senator from Baltimore County on the 2 amendments and the favorable report.
Thank you very much, and thank you for holding till today. So I just wanted to make certain the floor report that's been read, correct?
Don't believe
Okay,
we
so,
have.
So then I'll go ahead and
Thank you,
read
Mr.
it.
Floor Leader.
All right, thank you very much. As amended, this bill limits an earnings wage withholding order from exceeding 35% of an obligor's disposable earnings for the combined support order and arrearage if the obligor's individual income of a current year does not exceed 250% of the federal poverty guidelines for a family of 1, unless the obligor was determined to be voluntarily impoverished at a time of the most recent order. An earnings wage withholding notice will be sent to an obligor's employer, must include information relevant to the bill's limitation. The bill also authorizes an employee to contest the amount of a withholding order based on limits specified in 10-129 of the family article. Disposable earnings means that part of the earnings of an individual remaining after the deduction from those earnings of an amount required by law be withheld. This bill has an effective date of June 1, 2028. There were 2 committee amendments. The first is technical. The second requires that an employer, upon receipt of an earnings withholding order or earnings withholding notice, deduct no more than 35% of the obligor's disposable income if the obligor's earnings for the current year do not exceed 250% of the federal poverty guidelines for a family of 1, and it also alters the effective date to October 1 of 2028. I move the favorable committee report and its 2 amendments.
Floor Leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 16 is hereby ordered printed for 3rd reading. All right, let's go back to see if we are ready. Let's start with the first one we had, which was 606. Madam Clerk, if we could read the bill.
Senate Bill 606, Senator McCray, Maryland Easy Pass Commuter Fairness and Transparency Act of 2026. Question is the adoption of the favorable report as amended.
Our question is on the favorable report as amended. Recognize the Senator from District 7.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've worked with the sponsor of the bill and actually the floor leader on this. It's a great bill. I'm looking forward to this report. This actually deals with the passes that you can get for the number of tolls you go through. The issue I'm dealing with that I thought we could actually work with on this bill deals with many of us get constituent cases for people who, with their late fees and the penalties, which again, I do have a bill today in JPR. I thought maybe we could put that in this bill, but I work with the floor leader. This is not the vehicle for that. So with that, I just say we move forward with this bill, Mr. President.
All right, thank you, Senator. Question remains on the favorable report as amended. Any further discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 606 is hereby ordered printed for 3rd reading. Let's go next to 160. Back to special order for 160. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 160, Chair, Judicial Proceedings Committee, Public Safety, Licensed Firearm Dealers, Notification regarding potential compromise of security features. Question is the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable report.
On the 2 amendments. All right, recognize the Senator from District 4.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to thank the body for its indulgence. I spoke with the floor leader and the department, so I'm going to withdraw the amendment at this time. So thank you.
All right. So question remains on the committee amendment. We do still have it. Okay. So let's on the committee amendments. Any objections to the committee amendments? Without objection, the amendments are adopted. Question is on the favorable report as amended. Any discussion or objections? Without objection, the report as amended is adopted. Recognize the minority whip who has an amendment. Pages will collect and distribute the senator's amendment. All right, Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. The amendment simply, there's in current law, if a firearm dealer does not have the right security measures and other very clear, important security features outlined in the law, they can be subject to a $1,000 fine. This bill adds in a notification requirement under the same statute that they need to notify the state police within 24 hours of a break-in or a problem, and we've talked about that, and the bill massages some of that, which is good to make it a little more clear about what they're talking about. I wanted to ask that we make the first offense be a fine of $250 for just those kinds of violations. The $1,000 fine would remain if you violate the security requirements and other things. So just saying, if we have a violation one time about a notification, that the first fine be $250. And so that was my amendment, and I asked for the support. Thank you.
All right, Senator moves the amendment. Let's check with the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I thank the senator for sharing the amendment with me beforehand. Checked with the department. We consider this a friendly amendment.
All right. No objections from the committee. Any objections from the floor? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 160 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. Before we go to the next bill, Senator from District 1 has a guest.
Yes, I did have a guest. Want to do that? Yes. Perfect. Thank you very much. I believe they've left the gallery, but I would like to acknowledge that the Bell Institute of for Public Affairs, a group of students from Frostburg State University, are here. They are here. So yes, excellent. I lost Jake Shade. That was my cue. So around the corner. Okay. All right. But I see Max. So excellent. All right, everyone, let's give them a round of applause.
Welcome to the Frostburg students. Welcome.
Thank you for coming down. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Welcome, welcome. All right, let's go back into the agenda. We still have one more special order. This is 482. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 482, Senator McKay, criminal law interference with critical infrastructure or a public safety answering point. Question as an adoption of two committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right, question is on the two committee amendments. Senator has an amendment, but let's take up the committee amendments first. Any objections to the committee amendments? Without objection, the two committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report the amended report is adopted. Senator has distributed, has an amendment. The pages will distribute the senator's amendment. Suspect it's a very complicated one, controversial. Senator would like to explain this very controversial amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This very controversial amendment is an important one. It does add a co-sponsor to it, and very proud to have the support.
Excellent. Any objections to the senator's amendment? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. Any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 482 is hereby ordered printed for third reading. All right, that does it. Desk is clear. Desk is totally clear. We're in a good spot. I thought we were going to be a little bit longer today, so this is very good. Let's see. Let's start with committees. We have an announcement by the senator from District 11, but we'll do that at the end. Actually, before we do committees, if we may, let's start with the senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The reason why I rise today is for the introduction of a lay file bill.
Senator moves to suspend Rule 32, which would allow for the introduction of a bill after the deadline. Senator, if we could hand the bill to the secretary and explain the bill.
Absolutely. This is the prior authorization bill. So this is the piece of legislation that follows the capital budget to make modifications from previous years that senators request. We got it when we got it, and proud to introduce it today, but we need this bill in order to move with the capital budget. So I would ask for the rules to be suspended, and that I would also like to refer it directly to the Budget and Taxation Committee.
All right, the senator would like to combine the two motions. The motion would be to suspend Rule 32 and send the bill directly to committee. Are there any objections to the motion? Without objection, the motion is adopted. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 1007, Senator Zucker, prior authorizations of state debt, alterations, budget and taxation.
All right, the bill is ordered to the Capital Budget Subcommittee of the Budget and Taxation Committee. All right, yes, I recognize Senator from the 45th District.
Mr. President, I also have two LBIs that are late files submitted that
All right, if we could have the page collect the LBIs, Senator will describe, Senator's move to suspend the rules for the introduction of a late filed legislative bond initiative. If the Senator could describe them.
2 LBIs for the neighborhood. They were late coming over from the House of Delegates.
All right. Any objections to the Senator's motion? Any objection? Without objection, the motion is adopted. Clerk will read the LBIs.
Number 1, Senator McCray, the Sanctuary Collective, Budget and Taxation.
All right. LBIs are referred to.
And number 1, Senator McCray, East Biddle Street, Budget and Taxation.
All right. The 2 LBIs are referred to the Capital Budget Subcommittee of the Budget and Taxation Committee. All right. Any other late introductions or business before we get to announcements? Okay. 1 second. Let's do the finance first, please, if we could, for today.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance will meet at 1 o'clock. We have 12 bills, 114 witnesses. Another busy day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Education, Energy, and the Environment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tripoli will meet at 1 p.m. for bill hearings. We have 21 bill hearings on the calendar.
Busy day. Busy day. All right. Budget and tax.
We're going to meet at 1 today for bill hearings, and then we will do a little bit of voting.
All right. Excellent.
And if anybody sees, just out of curiosity, there is, I think, a vote list maybe out there that has the budget and the BRFA on it, but that's sort of a rolling list. We're clearly not doing that until tomorrow.
Budget BRFA for tomorrow. Excellent. Yes. All right. Judicial proceedings.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The Judicial Proceedings Committee will meet today at 1 p.m. for bill hearings.
1 p.m. Excellent. Any additional standing committees, select committees, caucuses? Senator from District 6.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tomorrow we'll be having at 7:30 in the morning our prayer breakfast. Everybody is welcome. We do have a special speaker, and we do have a choir that's coming in from Eastern Shore that's going to be singing. So if you can come, please. Again, it's free. It's a great opportunity just to have a time of devotion and prayer. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you for helping to organize. Senator from the 23rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Prince George's delegation will meet today at 6 p.m. in the Neal Room for voting.
6 p.m. for Prince George's. Senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is, or this afternoon, this evening, is the Irish Caucus event at Galway. Would love to have a bunch of people show up for that. There's a band, and it should be a good party. So hoping we can all get out of committee today to go. Thank you.
Excellent. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. I can't make it today. I've got dad duties, you know. Yes, Senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you very much. One alibi, we are going to vote at 12:30. So voting at 12:30, and then whenever we wrap up voting is when bill hearings will commence.
12:30 for judicial proceedings. Just make sure members of JPR, make sure 12:30, not JPR time, real time. All right, let's see. Do we have any other scheduling announcements, delegations? Any other business before we go to the senator from District 11? If not, let's go ahead and hear from Senator from District 11.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Today we pause to remember and honor the life of Melvin Mickey Steinberg, who passed away last night. He was a devoted public servant whose life story reflects the very best of the American promise. He was the son of Russian immigrants who came to this country at the age of 16 in search of opportunity. And through hard work and determination, his dad built a small grocery in Baltimore where young Mickey worked after school while growing up in the apartment above the shop. Those early lessons in perseverance, responsibility, and community shaped the man that he would become. He excelled in school and went on to attend the University of Baltimore, both undergraduate and law school, studying at night, and he passed the bar at the young age of 21. From those humble beginnings, he built a successful legal career representing labor organizations and earning a reputation as a thoughtful conciliator who preferred bringing people together to resolve differences than allowing disputes to divide them. That talent for negotiation carried over into a distinguished career in public service, and in 1966, he was elected to the Maryland State Senate, where he would serve the people of Baltimore County for nearly 2 decades. During this time in the Senate, he demonstrated extraordinary leadership as chair of the Finance Committee, and ultimately he was chosen by his colleagues as president of the Senate in 1983. As president, he helped guide Maryland through significant challenges and reforms, and his leadership helped protect Maryland's financial stability and demonstrated his deep commitment to responsible governance. In 1986, the people of Maryland elected him lieutenant governor, a role he served in with distinction for 2 terms, from 1987 to 1995, alongside Governor William Donald Schaefer. Their relationship was often spirited, and Mickey's dedication to the people of Maryland never wavered. He remained deeply engaged in public affairs and civic life long after leaving office. Throughout his career, Mickey never forgot where he came from, the values he learned in his family's small grocery store, hard work, fairness, respect for others, guided his approach to public service and leadership. He believed deeply in bringing people together, finding common ground, and working towards solutions that strengthen communities. His legacy is one of perseverance, public service, and lasting contributions to the state of Maryland. From the Senate of Maryland to the Lieutenant Governor's office, he helped shape the course of Maryland's history, building friendships and earning the respect of colleagues across the political spectrum. Today, we extend deepest condolences to his family, friends, all those whose lives he touched. May we remember Mickey Steinberg not only for the offices he held, but for the dedication, determination, and spirit of service that defined his life. I ask that we adjourn in his honor, and may his memory be a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Senator. And if there are no objections, if we could journalize the Senator's remarks, and we will adjourn in his honor. If I may, if the body will indulge, I went back to Senate's past to find to see some of the quotes from the Senator, and there were 2 things that stuck out here at the end of session. So just briefly, one was he was reflecting on his time as Senate President and said, "Without a doubt, the most significant contribution to the state of Maryland was my involvement in the savings and loan crisis. The entire state's financial structure was in jeopardy. As President of the Senate, I was supported by the membership in my opposition to the settlement accepted by the governor and the House of Delegates. The Senate successfully negotiated a more beneficial settlement for the state and created a process that resolved the problem within a few years." He went on to talk about another, what was his most important piece of legislation and how did he have an impact. He said, although there were a number of controversial issues, from death penalty, abortion, critical area legislation, the most controversial was pension reform. The political pressure applied by special interest groups was tremendous. However, the Senate came through, and we passed pension reform legislation that made the pension plan financially sound. Just 2 reflections on a real true leader for the state of Maryland, and appreciate his service to this state. We're better because of it. So with that, Madam Clerk, if we could do a quorum call. I'm sorry, Senator from the 23rd.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're moving pretty quickly. I was writing here. On behalf of the Protocol Committee, we have an important announcement to make today for the body. However, as part of this, it is a very significant announcement, and I'd like to recognize the senator from District 23 to assist us to make sure this is done to the extent that we like to see it done. So with that, Mr. President, I'd like to recognize the senator from District 23. Thank you.
Recognize the senator from District 23.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we have a significant birthday to announce today. Request permission to use the senator's name.
Senator may proceed.
Colleagues, today I rise to recognize and celebrate the birthday of an extraordinary public servant, trailblazer, and champion for the people of Maryland, the Senator Joanne C. Benson. Senator Benson's career in public service spans decades and has left an indelible mark on our state. She has been a powerful voice for education, equity, and opportunity, dedicating her life to uplifting communities and expanding access to resources for those who need them most. Throughout her distinguished career, Senator Benson has broken barriers and opened doors for others to follow. She made history as the second woman to serve as chair of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland, helping to guide one of the largest and most influential black caucuses in the nation during a pivotal time for representation and policy leadership. In addition, Senator Benson was the founder of the Legislative Black Caucus Office, establishing an institutional home that strengthened the caucus's ability to advocate, organize, and serve the people of Maryland more effectively. That vision helped create a foundation that continues to support the work of the caucus today. Before and during her time in the Maryland General Assembly, Senator Benson dedicated herself to education and community service. As an educator and leader, she's worked tirelessly to expand opportunities for young people and to strengthen families and neighborhoods across Prince George's County and throughout the state. Her legacy is one of courage, commitment, and community. Senator Benson has shown us what it means to lead with purpose and to serve with integrity. And on behalf of the Maryland Senate, I wish to wish Senator Joanne C. Benson a very happy birthday. We thank her for her years of leadership, mentorship, and unwavering dedication to the people of Maryland. Happy birthday, Senator Benson, and may your day be filled with celebration and appreciation for all you have accomplished. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. We certainly wish her a happy birthday. I know she's listening in and doing her best to recover. So,
Yeah.
yes, recognize the Senator from Prince George's.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd ask that those strong remarks be journalized.
Without objection, certainly we will, Senator. All right, any further business? If not, if we could do a quorum call.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 43 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session, recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate of Maryland stand adjourned until Thursday, March 12th at 10 a.m., adjourning today in honor of Mickey Steinberg.
Without objection, so ordered. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Stay safe. See you tomorrow.